Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
So, I see y'all pulled up. Question. Quick question. What do y'all think about this book right here? This is the Bible right here. What do y'all beliefs or views or sites on this Bible? What do y'all think?
I
want a dialogue. I want us to talk about God. So, what does this book mean to y'all?
Well, it can mean
Is it a spiritual book? You believe in the book? You believe in the book? Okay. Y'all believe in the book? Yes? Okay, cool. So, we all believe in the Bible, right? So, question. Inside of the Bible, right, there's stories. We heard about different types of stories, right? Who are those stories written to or about? Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. Alright, so what you're going to hear in the streets is scriptures that you're never going to hear inside the church. Why is that? Because what? Guess who set up the churches today? You want to take a guess? Who set up the Baptist church? The Pentecost. These are the people, right? Who are the people? The same people who did this to our foremothers and our forefathers, they did this to us for over 300 years, set up some churches, and then now when we come out of the slavery, we have their last names and their religion. Right? Doesn't that ring a bell? That sounds like the same thing that happened to us, right? Let's get it out of the Bible, you know, say, why we do certain things that we do this day, right? Read this.
Psalms chapter 147 verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
This is God speaking. He showeth the Bible, the words, you know, the words of God unto who?
Unto Jacob.
Unto Jacob. Jacob, right, in Genesis, when he was born, his name was Jacob, but his name was turned to Israel. Right? When you look at this song right here, this sign right here, it says what? Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob or Israel is an important person in the Bible. You ever heard that word? Jacob or Israel? Inside of the Bible, you ever heard the word Jacob or Israel? Alright, so inside of the Bible, God is speaking to a certain people. We're going to find out today. That group of people is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Americans. This Bible is exclusive. It's not all English. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm going to show you that. Where do y'all see yourselves in this time? Do y'all consider yourselves American blacks? What is your father? For instance, if your father, right? If your father was walking around and they would see him on the street, what do the police say? Would they say he's a Jamaican man? Would they say he's a Haitian? Would they say he's American? Black American? What do they call him? Right, a black American, right? So I understand you may have your own beliefs of what you are right now, but in actuality, you are who your father is. That's what the Bible says. So you will be an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. You should write that. Any other belief that you had in your mind? Scratch that, because what? This is where you're going to find this at? In the Bible. You're not going to find all these other garbage anywhere else, but you're going to find who we truly are in the Bible. Finish that off?
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
Y'all heard that? Who did God show his word to? Jacob and Israel. Did he show it to anybody else? So you're telling me the Bible is not given to all races of people? My sister? You say you thought? You said you had different. Different like translation, there's different like translations they try to do, different versions of the Bible they try to do. What they're trying to do is keep you away from what? This version of the Bible. This is the King James Version Bible, 1611 right here, right? But you just heard a scripture. Listen to it all the way, family. Read it again from the top.
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
He just said it plain. My words, my promises, my gifts were only to one nation of people. As far as the other people, they have not known him. But with those words and those commandments, so what does it come? What comes with God's commandments or His blessings, right? What comes with it? Yeah, if you get gifts, right? Isn't there a flip side? If you're receiving blessings, what's the flip side if you're disobedient? Tell me. What is the flip side of being disobedient to God? Because what we just read, he's only speaking to these people, right? So these people on the side, the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Jamaican, we should find a tuned ear to what this Bible is saying when we're here. Like, this is our book. This book does not belong to everybody. God says what? I only gave the words to you, my children. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
I asked the question, what's the flip side to what? Being disobedient. Because we hear about the blessings in church. We hear the motivation in church, right? We hear all these things, but they never talk about this side of the Bible. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So God, speaking to the Israelites, if thou will not hearken. Hearken means to listen. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
Read that part a little slower. To do what?
To observe, to do all his commandments.
Families, what you guys are hearing from the first time, this is our true religion. It's only the commandments of God. When God sent Moses to rescue us from Egypt, when we were in the wilderness, he didn't give us Baptist religion. He didn't give us Episcopalian, all these different denominations and churches. No, he said, my children, you keep my commandments. That's it. Read.
To do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
Wait a minute, what would happen to us if we didn't keep these commandments?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
That's the flip side. He says, if you don't do all of my commandments, you will receive curses. What are curses? Are they good or bad? Say bad. Say bad. Good or bad? Bad, right? Let's read about these curses because what? How you doing, family? Oh, we were just going over that. Hey, family. So what we're trying to go over right here is what? Nationality. Because we have to start somewhere. Hey, family, where do y'all see yourselves in this sign? Right here is the 12 tribes of Israel. We're reading out the Bible that what? If these people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, if we don't keep God's commandments, we will receive curses. Right? Verse 16.
Verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So I got a question for everybody. Every city you go to, who lives in the so-called cursed part of town? The hood side of town, where the most poverty side of town is. Every city, right? Who lives in that side of town? God calls them what? The Israelites. We actually get Deuteronomy 1 verse 1. I got to show you that. We read about the curses of God to who? A certain people for not being obedient to his word. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So the book of Deuteronomy is written to who?
All Israel.
It's written to only the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So we're hearing God's words going to the Israelites. And he says, if we break God's commandments, we will receive curses.
IUIC TV.
In the Bible, the Israelites just walked out of Egypt, right? Y'all remember the story of the Red Sea splitting? Moses, right? Y'all probably heard of that story with the water splitting, right? But he's saying they were just in Egypt. He said you're going to go back into Egypt. Let's get what Egypt means according to the Bible.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Wait, what does Egypt mean?
The house of bondage.
If you're in a state of bondage, what does that mean? Slavery. Bondage, being in a state of bondage is what we're in slavery. Listen to what God is trying to tell us. He says, for not keeping my commandments, you Israelites, you're going to go back into Egypt, into slavery again, with ships. Who went into slavery on slave ships?
Bring it on.
You said we did, right? Who does God call them? One more scripture before you leave, my sister. Because I wanted to show you who we are. Look at this sign, family. Who did this happen to? Transatlantic slave trade. We have slave ships. We have auction blocks, right? This happened to us, right, family? So, but inside of the Bible, who does God call those people? The Israelites. That's who what the curses happened to. Were the Israelites. They're not African American. They're not so-called black. God refers to the people of the curses of the Bible. They're the Israelites.
Right.
That's who we are, family. That's very big news. Because what? As soon as Ye or Kyrie comes out and says, we're the Jews, we're the Israelites, what do? They blackball them. They shut them down. As soon as they say that, what? We're the true Israelites, they shut us down. What happens if we're Israelites and we start doing what God says? Who can tell me? Because what? If we're here for the Israelites, it's more than just a title. Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12. Being an Israelite is more than just, because you could just say, oh, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more, and you could just take off. No, there's more to it. It's more than just being what? We were brought here as slaves. Now it's time for us to wake up and come back to this Bible. Read Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now Israel. Read that again. And now Israel. So God is speaking to us right here. He says, and now Israel, you so-called blacks and Hispanics. Read.
What doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Wait a minute. Who knew that God had requirements for us, the so-called blacks and Hispanics? Who knew that? Because when you listen to this man right here, he says, come as you are and stay as you are. Why? Jesus will tell you, oh, don't judge me. You can't judge me. You come as you are, you stay as you are. You know what I'm saying? If you just believe in your heart, then you can get to heaven, right? That's what kind of things he tries to say. But they never talk about requirements. God says what?
And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways.
You must what? Start off with the fear of God. What does it mean? You're supposed to be hearing these words and like, dang, I'm in fear of walking away and not truly understanding the message that this Bible's talking about. That's that fear he needs you to have. He needs you to fear what? To go oppose his words. Read on.
To love him and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
This is how you love God according to the Bible. Read on.
To keep his commandments.
What do we have to do?
Keep his commandments.
It goes back to those same requirements what we have to do. We have to be keeping God's commandments as a nation of people.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.